There's a group of slot machines sitting on every casino floor right now that barely anyone touches. And here's the kicker. They're not broken. They're not out of order. According to former casino employees, these machines are intentionally placed in specific spots with some very interesting settings, and casinos hope you never find out why. What you're about to learn will change the way you look at slot machines. Let's start with the first one you'll never see promoted. Machine number 1, Blazing Sevens Triple Jackpot. This is a three-reel mechanical slot that's been around since the early 2000s. According to an ex-floor manager from Caesar's Palace, this machine has an RTP between 96 and 97% depending on the specific configuration. That's significantly higher than most modern slots, which run between 88 and 94%. The machine looks ancient compared to the flashy video screens around it. It's just 3 reels with classic 7 symbols and a simple jackpot display without animations, known movie characters, and elaborate bonus rounds. And that's exactly why casinos don't promote it. Former employees revealed that Blazing Sevens generates roughly $180 per day in casino profit. Meanwhile, a modern Buffalo video slot in a prime location generates over $600 per day. Same floor space, but wildly different revenue. Here's the specific tell for finding these machines. They're always placed in corner positions, never in main walkways. At MGM casinos, former staff said they're typically in the back sections near older table games. At tribal casinos, they're often in the original gaming areas that haven't been renovated. You're looking for mechanical reels, not video screens. When you find them, check the glass carefully. If it says triple jackpot specifically, you found the higher RTP version. A former slot technician from Atlantic City shared something fascinating. These machines require more maintenance than video slots because they have physical moving parts. Casinos keep them running because completely removing them would anger longtime loyal players who specifically seek them out. But they've done the math. The maintenance cost plus the lower profit margin means these machines barely justify their floor space. That's why you'll never see a casino advertisement featuring them. But here's something most people don't realize about Blazing Sevens. Because it's mechanical, you can actually hear when it's about to hit. Experienced players listen for a specific sound the reels make when they're landing on high-value symbols. It's not guaranteed, but it's the kind of information you'll never get from digital machines. Former employees said some players would sit near these machines, just listening for patterns. Now, you might be wondering why casinos keep any high RTP machines at all if they're less profitable. We'll get to that answer, but first you need to know about a machine that casinos hide for a completely different reason. Machine number 2, Ultimate X Video Poker, Triple Play. Ultimate X isn't a traditional slot machine, but it sits on casino floors, and former employees consistently flag it as something casinos purposely keep under the radar. Specifically, the triple play version where you play 3 hands simultaneously. This machine has a unique multiplier feature that carries over between players, creating massive advantage opportunities that casinos desperately want to minimize. Here's how it works. Winning hands activate multipliers for the next hand. If someone plays and builds up multipliers, but then leaves the machine, those multipliers remain active for the next player. One lucky player finds the abandoned Ultimate X machine with active multipliers. Finding one with 12x still loaded is basically finding free money. Now the question may arise, why would anyone leave a slot machine if it has a high multiplier? Before I answer this question, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe and tell me in the comments, have you ever won big with a small bet amount? Anyway, the real answer for the question is pretty simple. It usually comes down to one thing: confusion. Many casual players don't even realize their multipliers carry over to the next hand. Some think the feature resets automatically when they cash out. Others get frustrated after a losing streak and leave without noticing what they've built up. And occasionally, people just run out of credits or need to catch a flight. Either way, the advantage stays on the machine for whoever finds it next. The problem for casinos is that this isn't illegal or against any rules. It's just pure luck. But it kills their profit margins on these machines. According to a former slot analyst from the Cosmopolitan, when Ultimate X machines are in high-traffic areas, players check them constantly. Some crazy gamblers even have daily routes across multiple casinos, scanning every Ultimate X machine for abandoned multipliers. So casinos implemented a two-part strategy. First, they stopped promoting Ultimate X entirely. No advertisements, no mentions in player communications, nothing. Second, they moved these machines to the most inconvenient locations possible. At many strip casinos, former employees said Ultimate X machines are in sections near parking garage entrances, in empty corridors between casino sections, or near back service areas. One former floor supervisor mentioned they intentionally placed their Ultimate X machines near employee break room entrances so staff would naturally notice weird players checking them. Here's a specific story that shows how serious casinos are about this. In 2017, a group of gambler friends was banned from the Tropicana in Las Vegas. They weren't cheating, they were simply too efficient at finding and playing abandoned Ultimate X multipliers. According to a former security supervisor who was there, the team would coordinate via text messages, walking different sections of the casino and alerting each other when they found good machines. The casino couldn't prove anything illegal, but they invoked their right to refuse service. After that, several other casinos on the Strip quietly implemented similar policies. The visual identifier for Triple Play Ultimate X is important. You're looking for machines that show 3 separate poker hands stacked vertically on the screen with the Ultimate X logo and multiplier displays above each hand. Not all video poker is Ultimate X, and not all of them are Triple Play. You need that specific combination. What makes this machine particularly fascinating is that casinos can't just remove the multiplier feature because that's the core game mechanic, and they can't eliminate video poker entirely due to customer demand and regulatory considerations in some markets. So they're stuck with a machine that players love, and their only defense is hiding it and watching for suspicious behavior. But here's what you need to know about the next machine, because this one involves casinos using loyalty programs as weapons. Machine number 3, Triple Red Hot 7's Free Games version. Triple Red Hot 7's with the Free Games feature is a specific variant that casinos have systematically removed from prominent floor positions over the past 5 years. According to former slot directors, this machine has a bonus structure that's too favorable when combined with player rewards programs. The game itself is straightforward. It looks like a simple 3-reel classic, but it hides a free games bonus that hits surprisingly often. Former employees explained that the combination of decent base RTP around 94 to 95% plus frequent free game bonuses created a situation where players using max comp benefits could achieve effective returns above 100%. This wasn't a flaw in the machine, it was casinos miscalculating how their loyalty programs would interact with the game's volatility pattern. A former casino host from Pennsylvania shared internal documents showing this exact problem. They ran an analysis on Triple Red Hot 7s and discovered that players with platinum tier status were generating positive expected value because the free games bonuses combined with comp dollars created too much return. The casino's solution wasn't to adjust the loyalty program. That would anger high-value customers. Instead, they moved all Triple Red Hot 7 machines to locations where platinum players were unlikely to encounter them. The placement strategy was cautious. At many casinos, these machines are now in smoking sections, even though most gambling floors are smoke-free. Former employees explained this choice was deliberate. High-value loyalty program members, who tend to be older and wealthier, overwhelmingly prefer non-smoking environments. By placing Triple Red Hot 7s in smoking sections, casinos ensure that the exact demographic who could exploit the math never plays these machines. Here's where the story gets darker. A former compliance officer from a tribal casino mentioned that they specifically track which machines loyalty program members play. When they noticed platinum and diamond tier players clustering on certain games, those games got flagged for floor optimization. That's corporate speak for moving them to worse locations. Triple Red Hot 7s was one of the most frequently flagged games across multiple properties. The giveaway for this version is the title card. It should say Triple Red Hot 7s with free games clearly displayed. There are other Red Hot 7s variations without the free games feature, and those use completely different math. Former slot technicians mentioned that the free games version often has a small gold star sticker or indicator near the title card, though this can vary by casino and machine age. What's particularly manipulative about this situation is that casinos actively encourage loyalty program signups. They promote the benefits, they send emails about point multiplier days, they create entire marketing campaigns around comp dollars and free play. But behind the scenes, they're tracking which machines loyalty members play and moving the ones that are too favorable. It's like offering someone a coupon and then hiding all the products the coupon works best on. Now you're probably starting to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. But the next machine we need to discuss involves actual player skill, and casinos absolutely hate that. Machine number 4, Quick Hit Platinum Triple Blazing Sevens. Quick Hit Platinum is a video slot series that's extremely popular. But there's one specific version called Triple Blazing Sevens that casinos actively hide. Former employees from Bally's manufacturing division confirmed this machine has unusual characteristics that make it problematic from a casino profit perspective. The issue is the hit frequency. Quick Hit Platinum's Triple Blazing 7 game hits bonuses roughly 30% more frequently than standard quick hit machines. It was designed this way to appeal to players who like frequent smaller wins rather than rare big jackpots. According to insider reports, when this machine was first released, casinos placed it in prime locations. But they quickly discovered a problem. Players stayed on these machines for hours because the frequent bonuses made their bankrolls last longer. This is bad for casinos because they make money on volume of bets, not time spent sitting. The solution was elegant and shady. Casinos kept the machines but moved them to terrible locations. At Caesar's Palace, former staff said these are often near the back exits or in hallways connecting different casino sections. At MGM casinos, they're in the older tower sections away from the main floor. The machines exist and they're playable, but casual guests will almost never encounter them by accident. A former data analyst shared internal numbers. When Triple Blazing Sevens was in a prime location, it generated about $320 in daily profit. When moved to a back location, daily profit dropped to about $160. But here's the key insight. That same prime location could hold a different machine that generates $550 in daily profit. So casinos make more money by hiding the quick hit machine in a bad location and putting something else in the good spot. The way to identify this specific version is to look at the title screen. It must say Platinum and Triple Blazing Sevens together. There are many quick hit variations. Most of them are fine for casinos to promote. This specific one is not. This version often has betting denominations starting at a penny, which makes it even more dangerous for casino profits because players can stretch their money further. There's an interesting secondary effect here. Players who find these machines by accident often become loyal to them because they perform better than surrounding options. Casinos have learned to accept this. They'd rather have a small number of informed players enjoying these machines in bad locations than have them become widely known. It's a calculated sacrifice. What's really wild is when you understand how casinos use machine placement like a game of chess. Every single machine is a piece on a board, and you're moving exactly where they want you to move. Unless you know what we're about to discuss next. Machine number 5, Double Diamond 3-Reel. Double Diamond is a classic slot brand, but there's one version called Red, White, and Blue that has become nearly extinct on modern casino floors. Former employees revealed that this particular machine has an RTP approaching 98% in some configurations. That's almost unheard of for casino slots. The machine is dead simple. 3 reels, classic symbols, straightforward payouts, no bonus rounds, no complicated features, just spin and either win or lose. According to a former slot technician who worked at the Mirage, these machines were incredibly popular in the 90s and early 2000s. But as casinos realized how the math compared to modern games, they started phasing them out. However, they couldn't remove them entirely because certain jurisdictions have regulations requiring minimum numbers of mechanical reel machines. So these Double Diamond Red, White, and Blue machines still exist, but they're hidden in plain sight. At many casinos, they're in the high-limit rooms but configured to accept quarters or dollars, not just high-denomination bets. Former high-limit hosts explain this placement strategy. Putting them in high-limit rooms discourages regular players from finding them because most people assume everything in those rooms requires huge bets. But the machines technically meet the regulatory requirement for mechanical reel availability. Here's where it gets interesting. A former compliance officer from a Nevada casino shared that during a regulatory audit, inspectors specifically asked to see the mechanical reel machines. The casino had to show they existed and were playable, but nowhere in the regulations did it say the casino had to advertise where they were or make them easy to find. This loophole allowed casinos to comply with the letter of the law while still protecting their profits. The visual identifier for these machines is the color scheme. You're looking for red, white, and blue coloring on the glass with the double diamond logo. Not just any double diamond machine. It has to be the red, white, and blue themed version specifically. Former employees mentioned these are sometimes labeled as patriotic versions in internal systems. Think of casino floors like a magician's stage. Everything you're supposed to see is brightly lit and in the center. Everything they don't want you noticing is in the shadows at the edges. These double diamond machines are deliberately kept in the shadows. The next machine on this list is the one you saw on the thumbnail. And there's a strange reason casinos never advertise it. Machine number 6, Sex and the City. This one surprised me when I first learned about it. Sex and the City slots still exist on casino floors, but casinos stopped promoting them years ago despite them being profitable machines. According to former marketing directors from IGT, the reason is purely about brand image and demographics. When Sex and the City machines first launched, they were heavily promoted and extremely successful. They attracted a specific demographic of female players in their 30s to 50s who loved the show. But casinos noticed something interesting in their data. These machines created clusters. Groups of women would come to casinos specifically to play Sex and the City slots together. They'd occupy multiple machines in an area for hours, socializing and playing at moderate bet levels. From a pure profit standpoint, this isn't ideal. Casinos want turnover. They want players cycling through machines quickly. One former floor manager explained it this way. The Sex and the City machines made decent money, but they created dead zones around them. Other players, particularly male players, avoided the areas where groups of women were clustered around these branded machines. So casinos made a decision. Keep the machines because they're paid for and still profitable, but stop promoting them and move them to isolated locations. At many places, Sex and the City slots are now in areas adjacent to women's restrooms, or in sections near hotel elevators away from the main gaming floors. Former staff revealed this placement serves a dual purpose. It gives players who specifically want these machines a place to find them, but it prevents the clustering effect from impacting prime floor space. A slot director from Aria shared a specific example. They had 6 Sex and the City machines in a prime center floor location. Those 6 machines generated about $2,600 daily combined. But the 20 machines in the surrounding area saw their revenue drop by roughly 15% because of the demographic clustering effect. When they moved the Sex and the City machines to a side area, those 20 surrounding machines recovered their revenue. The 6 moved machines saw their revenue drop to about $1,400 combined, but the net effect was positive for the casino. This reveals something important about how casinos think. Individual machine performance doesn't tell the whole story. They're analyzing the entire floor as an ecosystem. Sometimes a profitable machine gets hidden because it negatively affects everything around it. But here's what you need to know about the next machine, because this one involves actual player skill, and casinos absolutely hate that. Machine number 7, Zombie Apocalypse. Zombie Apocalypse is a skill-based slot machine where bonus rounds involve first-person shooter-style gameplay. Your actual shooting accuracy affects your bonus payout. According to X game developers, this machine represents a failed experiment that casinos want to quietly forget. The idea behind skill-based slots was to attract younger players who grew up with video games. Traditional slots are purely random, which younger demographics found boring. So manufacturers like GameCo created machines with actual skill elements. Zombie Apocalypse was one of the first major releases. The base game is a standard slot, but when you trigger the bonus, you play a first-person shooter game where you shoot zombies. Better accuracy equals bigger payouts. Here's the problem casinos discovered. Skilled players practiced, they got good at shooting mechanics, and their return percentages climbed significantly higher than the designed average. A former slot analyst shared internal data showing that skilled players were achieving effective RTPs above 100% on these machines during bonus rounds. That's not sustainable for casinos, but removing the machines entirely would be admitting the skill-based experiment failed. So casinos did something clever. They pushed them aside, ignored, and left to collect dust. But these machines require more upkeep than standard slots because they have more complex software and hardware. When casinos deprioritize maintenance, the machines malfunction more often, which drives players away naturally. At casinos that still have zombie apocalypse machines, they're almost always in the most remote sections of the floor. Former employees from multiple properties confirmed they're often near back entrances, in connector hallways, or in sections of the casino being renovated. The goal is to make them so inconvenient to access that only the most determined players will bother. There's a larger story here about skill-based gambling. Casinos learned quickly that skilled players are exactly who they don't want. Traditional gamblers who rely on luck are predictable and profitable. Skilled players who can improve their odds are neither. According to industry reports, most major casino chains have completely abandoned skill-based slot development. The existing machines remain only because they're paid for, and occasionally someone plays them. Now here's where things get really interesting, because the next machine involves casinos literally watching and waiting for specific moments. Machine number 8, Ocean Magic Grand. Ocean Magic Grand is a video slot with a unique feature. It has bubble symbols that randomly appear and can upgrade wins. But there's a specific mechanical quirk that casinos don't advertise. The bubble feature has states that carry over between players. Former slot technicians explained that when someone plays Ocean Magic Grand, the bubble accumulation doesn't fully reset after they leave. The next player inherits a partially advanced state. This creates an advantage play opportunity. Experienced players often roam the casino floor, looking for Ocean Magic Grand machines left behind in a favorable setup by someone else. According to a former surveillance operator, casinos are aware of this behavior and have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, these players rarely win enough to significantly hurt profits. On the other hand, their presence and behavior can be noticed by regular players, potentially educating them about game mechanics. The solution casinos implemented was to avoid promoting Ocean Magic Grand and to place the machines in locations where advantage players scouting the floor would be more obvious. At most casinos, these machines are in sight lines from surveillance cameras and near staff stations. Former floor supervisors mentioned they're trained to watch for players who check machines without sitting down, which is the telltale sign of advantage scouting. Here's a specific example from a former pit boss at the Venetian. They noticed a player checking Ocean Magic Grand machines every morning around 10 a.m. after drunk tourists from the night before had abandoned games. This player would check the bubble states on multiple machines, then sit at one machine and play for exactly 20 minutes. After tracking this behavior for 2 weeks, they estimated he was generating about 102 to 103% return, meaning slightly profitable play. The casino's response wasn't to ban him. They simply moved the Ocean Magic Grand machines to a different section of the casino where morning scouting would be more obvious to staff. The reason this matters is it shows how casinos think about these situations. They're not trying to eliminate all advantage play. They're trying to make it difficult enough and obvious enough that only a tiny percentage of players do it. By not advertising Ocean Magic Grand and by placing it strategically, they control the situation. But what we're about to discuss next involves a machine that casinos are required to have, but desperately wish they could remove. Machine number 9, 9-6 jacks or better video poker. Video poker isn't technically a slot machine, but it occupies slot floor space, and former casino employees consistently mentioned it as something casinos hide. Specifically, 9-6 jacks or better video poker. That designation means a full house pays 9 credits and a flush pays 6 credits per credit bet. This version has an RTP of 99.54% with perfect strategy. That's higher than almost any slot machine in any casino. According to former gaming managers, casinos keep 9-6 jacks or better machines because they're required to offer video poker in most regulated markets. But they don't want anyone actually playing it, so the machines exist in terrible locations with terrible visibility. At Vegas Strip properties, former employees said these are often in hallways near parking garages or in sections of the casino reserved for locals who know to look for them. The average gambler doesn't understand video poker pay tables. They see video poker machines and think they're all the same. But the difference between 9-6 jacks or better and 8-5 jacks or better is enormous. That one pay table change drops the RTP by over 2%. Casinos promote the worst versions and hide the better ones. An ex-table games manager shared something that perfectly illustrates this. A gambler asked a floor supervisor where the video poker machines were. The supervisor walked him to a bank of video poker machines near the high-limit area. Every single one was 8-5 jacks or better, meaning worse pay tables. The gambler never asked specifically for 9-6, so the supervisor technically answered the question while steering him toward worse machines. The 9-6 machines were 3 sections away near a back exit. What makes video poker particularly problematic for casinos is that skilled players can achieve RTPs above 100% when you factor in casino comps and promotions. If you're playing 9-6 jacks or better with perfect strategy and earning players' club points, you can sometimes generate a small positive expected value. According to reports from former casino hosts, there are professional video poker players who grind out small consistent profits by hunting for 9-6 machines and maximizing comp programs. Casinos can't eliminate these machines without regulatory issues, and they can't remove the comp programs without angering customers. So they make the 9-6 machines as hard to find as possible. It's a compromise that protects most of their profits while technically meeting requirements. Think of casinos like a restaurant that's legally required to offer water but really wants you to order soda. They'll give you water if you specifically ask for it, but they're not advertising it, and the waiter will suggest every other drink first. So we've exposed 9 specific machines that casinos deliberately hide from you. Every one of these machines tells almost the same story. Casinos control information, manipulate placement, and guide your decisions to maximize their profits. The machines they promote heavily are almost always worse for players than the machines they hide. Understanding this dynamic doesn't guarantee you'll win. The house always has an edge, but it does mean you're making informed decisions instead of being led exactly where they want you to go. By exposing these hidden machines, they're giving you a fighting chance to play smarter. You're not supposed to know any of this, but now you do. Subscribe for more insider information casinos don't want you to know.